We continue our signing week festivities with a look at the number 24 ranked class, Texas Tech. Here to help us break it all down is national recruiting analyst Mike Roach, and from inside the Red Raiders, Jarrett Johnson. I'm Emily Proud, and we're going to start with the headliner. We've got to, Jarrett. Texas Tech signs its first five-star ever in wide receiver Micah Hudson. He's the highest ranked recruit in program history. So you know those expectations will, of course, be high. So how do you expect him to live up to those lofty goals?
Yeah, those are high expectations to live up to, but Micah Hudson has a different personality. Anybody who's interviewed him or been around him or heard him speak, he's a different, kind of more grounded type of dude. He's expressed many times he wants to come in and work, wants to be a part of the program. Head coach Joey McGuire has discussed utilizing him all over the field. I could see him lining up in the slot, lining up outside, maybe even going to the backfield and doing some creative things with him like that. He is going to play. McGuire's already said year one, he's not going to redshirt. He's going to play. Expect him to make an impact immediately.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I think Jared nailed it. He's a different type of kid. He's extremely mature. He's got an extremely mature outlook and, knows this is a business for him. He's got his future to the NFL to think of. But I think what's unique about Micah Hudson is that he saw that opportunity at Texas Tech when, other prospects in his position would look at the Texas and the Ohio States and the Alabamas of the world. He wanted to go his own path. Our comp for him is Garrett Wilson. I covered Garrett Wilson in high school as well. I see a lot of the same in him as far as, his ability to get the ball if it's in his area. He was one of the most exciting receivers I covered in the last couple of years. And he's going to be incredibly dynamic at Texas Tech. Zach Kittley's offense is wide open enough. And I think if they can kind of manage some of the quarterback injuries they had this year, then Hudson's going to be a guy that's going to excel, and we'll see him immediately as a freshman, could be a freshman All-American candidate. I talked to some sources down in Lubbock, and with Hudson already on campus early enrolling in January, I said, hey, how much of a factor is he going to be in the spring? And they said he's a factor already. He was a factor the moment he stepped on campus. So this is a guy that's going to have some very lofty expectations. But I love the way he went about his recruitment. I love the way Texas Tech went about this recruitment. They didn't get intimidated, and they went head-to-head with some big-time programs and ended up winning him over because of the relationships that staff had built with him.
Yeah, sounds like he has the temperament to handle those high expectations. And while he is the gem of this group, this is a pretty deep class coming in. 4 total players in the top 247. So, Mike, I'll start with you. Who do you like from this group?
I love Ellis Davis. I think he is a guy that, especially if you're at Texas Tech, you definitely want to get your quarterback, you want to get your wide receiver, but you want to build up front, and you really want to build on the offensive and defensive lines. Ellis Davis is a guy at Prosper who played on one of the best offensive lines in the state of Texas. Really big frame, but is extremely mobile. When you see him on film there, moving to the second level, he can move laterally. This is a guy you could build an offensive line unit around, and I think that Texas Tech had to go head-to-head with Stanford and Oklahoma and a few other schools to get Ellis Davis. They were able to win him over. I think that's huge for them. I think it's going to come away with maybe one of the bigger impacts of this class is getting a guy like him you can put on your bookend at tackle and protect the quarterback so he can throw the ball to Micah Hudson so they can run the ball and kind of thrive in that offense that Zach Kittley's created.
Jarrett, who do you like?
Yeah, no, I really agree with what Mike said about Ellis Davis. Texas Tech sees him as a starting right tackle for multiple years down the road, and probably the top right tackle in the state of Texas for the 2024 class. So it was a huge get, and it's the type of get that Texas Tech doesn't get. Quite honestly, Micah Hudson, a receiver, and then Will Hammond, a 4-star quarterback, another one of the top 247, 250 recruits. He's a Elite 11 finalist. Those are the kind of positions that Tech is used to recruiting at a higher level than the rest of the positions on the roster. But Ellis Davis at right tackle, Cheeto Ofili, a edge rusher, another top 250 guy who made a late push, who rose in the rankings to reach the 250 right in the final evaluation, the final release of the rankings. Those are positions that Tech historically has not recruited well at all. And to get positions of that caliber or guys of that caliber at those positions was a major coup for Joey McGuire, general manager James Blanchard, and the entire coaching staff.
Yeah, you said it. It's the entire coaching staff. You bring in Joey McGuire, and you've got back-to-back top 25 classes. But if we're being honest with ourselves, there's always kind of that energy and excitement those first few years with a new head coach when he comes in, reinvigorates it. But Jarrett, from your perspective, what do him and his staff need to do to continue to recruit at this high level?
I mean, just keep doing what they're doing. They have, quite honestly, right now they already have 9 commits for the 2025 class. It's ranked 26, so they're right there in the top 25 wheelhouse again. I think that's where Texas Tech should be. I think that's the potential for this program in this great state with the great talent that there is. The relationships that McGuire, James Blanchard, and not just them, but their entire staff have throughout the state is second to none, to be quite honest. And I really like the way they do things are unique with James Blanchard as general manager and his recruiting staff, the way they have the green light to offer recruits and the way they evaluate recruits. It's unique, it's different, and honestly, it's hard to replicate. So I foresee Texas Tech, as long as Joey McGuire and James Blanchard are on staff, I expect Texas Tech to recruit very well.
Yeah, Texas Tech has proven that they're early to evaluate, they're early to build those relationships. Because they are so early to evaluate, they're always one of the first offers for kids within the state of Texas. That they get a head start on building that relationship. And like Jared mentioned, that model that they have there is an NFL type of model in their personnel department. But I think it's kind of the entire package. If you meet Joey McGuire, you understand he's a magnetic guy. He's a guy people are drawn to. Also, don't forget, they're opening a brand new end zone facility right around kickoff this year. It's going to be a beautiful facility. It's going to be state of the art. It's going to be as good as anything around the country. Their NIL program has proven to be as competitive as anybody. They've got a lot of pieces in place to keep this going. I think the only thing that can really derail them, they had a disappointing season this year after their first season was so encouraging, and I think a lot of that had to do with injuries, and especially at the quarterback position. The only thing that could derail them is more losses on the field, but I think if they can get back to winning, this is a program that has enormous potential in the new Big 12.
Yeah, you said it. They're taking advantage of being in the state of Texas, but they're also able to take advantage of this new look Big 12. I'll start with you with this, Mike. How can the Red Raiders take advantage of this new power dynamic in the conference with Texas and OU off to the SEC? Right now, you see it. They are the #1 recruiting class in the conference.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that they've gone out and they've recruited at a high level before, and now at this point with these teams leaving, you're in this power vacuum where you've got to see who's going to kind of come out on top. And I think Tech is as well positioned as anybody. There's a lot. I was in Lubbock a couple weeks ago for a high school coaches clinic. There's a lot of exciting things going on around campus. There's a lot of buzz around, and I think they've got the right guy at the helm to lead them to that. So what they've got to do, again, just get back to winning on the field, and you're going to have to overcome the newcomers to the conference, the Utahs and the Arizonas and schools like that. But you're also going to have to hold off the Texas, the TCUs and the Baylors and the Houstons coming into the conference. I think they can do that. Like I mentioned, their resources, the new facility that's opening, who they've got running the show, I think all sets up very well for them. They've got to continue to recruit at a high level. I think they could probably go up a level from where they are, and I think there's some people in Lubbock that feel that way as well. And if they do that and continue to win on the field, I think that they can be the new power player in that conference.
Yeah, I think Mike nailed it with the facilities, the NIL initiative, it's the Matador Club that Texas Tech has here that has them very competitive. McGuire, all the things are set in place, but they have to win. It was a good season, but it was disappointing compared to preseason expectations. They need an 8, 9, dare I say 10-win type season. And I think the schedule coming up and some of the guys they have coming back and the way they've added to the roster could facilitate a pretty big season or a high-win season coming up in 2024. And I think that would help propel them in terms of taking over leadership in the new Big 12. But Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, and then some of the new guys, I think UCF is a program to watch, quite honestly, where they are and just their potential. But, yeah, Texas Tech is right there in the mix with the opportunity to take over as one of the top programs in the Big 12.
That's the fun double-edged sword with recruiting well is if you bring in a good class, people expect you to win with that good class. But it sounds like a lot of excitement down there in Lubbock. Thank you both so much for breaking it all down for us. As a reminder, you can check out Inside the Red Raiders for all things Texas Tech all year long. I think Mike said it best. There is a buzz right now in Lubbock, so you can read all about it at Inside the Red Raiders.